New Seagate, even in the generous embrace of high summer, bore a certain melancholic heft, a perfume of ambition and decay. The air, thick with brine and the exotic breath of imported sandalwood, clung to the velvet awnings of the upper wards, a testament to the city's opulent hypocrisy. Down by the docks of the Azure Quill, where the sea breathed its rhythmic sigh against the timbers, gas lamps cast oily, shimmering reflections across slick cobblestones, turning the sprawling port into a monstrous, glittering fish caught in the Karzalan Sea's black embrace. This was a city of desperate fortunes, held now with a white-knuckled grip. The theft, however, had not occurred in the shadowed labyrinth of the lower tides, but within the granite heart of the Vance estate, a bulwark of prosperity perched high on the eastern bluffs overlooking the Grand Harbor. The Eye of the Deep, a colossal sapphire rumored to be from a primordial wreck, was not merely a treasure, it was the very keystone of the duchy's stability, now gone. Lord Alaric Vance, the patriarch of the spice trade, revealed no outward fury, only a troubling, profound stillness. The reward notice, nailed to the brass plaques of the Fountain of the Seven Tides, hummed with a quiet desperation, a handsome reward for the discreet return of a family treasure, no questions asked regarding its conveyance. The discretion was the coiled serpent in the heart of the matter. The collective, a peculiar assembly of talents, Dalton Fellwinter, the pragmatic mercenary, Wilfred Lonefoot, the meticulous hobbit craftsman, Mara Gluepocket, the quick-witted hobbit rogue, and the human townsfolk Anya Meadowsweet, Sarah Meadowlake, and Gemma Fairweather, with their gentle hands and sharp observations, found themselves summoned not to Vance's fortress, but to the Silver Scriptorium. Within its hushed marble halls, permeated by the scent of aged parchment and fine beeswax, a stark contrast to the lively, sun-drenched bustle of summer's outdoor markets, Magistra Lyra Sol awaited. Her sharp-boned face, framed by severe dark silks, was etched with an exhaustion that wealth rarely managed to conceal, her storm-gray eyes betraying a profound, unspoken fear.
"You are the inquiries Vance authorized," Lyra Sol stated, her voice a low murmur that barely disturbed the heavy velvet drapes of the scriptorium. The air still carried the refined scent of beeswax, a memory of quiet order that now felt profoundly false. She pushed a small, leather-bound ledger across the polished mahogany, its surface cool beneath the touch. Do not mistake this for a common burglary. The Eye of the Deep was secured by 3 wards, a physical lock of dwarven make, a minor warding glyph by the cathedral priesthood, and Vance's own private seal, all 3 bypassed without force. No alarms, guards saw nothing but fog. Wilfred, with his craftsman's eye, instinctively leaned closer to the mention of dwarven work, his brow furrowing. Such mechanisms, he knew, spoke not just of brute strength, but of precise, interlocking philosophies. Mara's quick gaze swept the room, taking in Lyra's strained posture, noting the twitch at the corner of her eye. The offering was 2,000 crowns, Lyra continued, but the silence surrounding the how was worth twice that. She paused, then, almost accidentally, spoke of Lord Vance's pacing the parapets the night of the theft, muttering out the covenant. The thief, she explained, understood the philosophy of the protection. This, she felt, was the true wound. Dalton grunted, a sound of grim understanding. An insider, or someone with intimate knowledge. The group left the scriptorium as the summer sun, high overhead, beat down upon Merchants' Row. The day was alive with the distant clamor of community bazaars, the sweet scent of melons and ripe pears from the season's abundant harvest drifting on the warm breeze. Anya, Sarah, and Gemma, with their practical knowledge, quietly discussed how such a precise, unseen act could occur within such defenses. Their journey led them first to the old Citadel district, a place of ancient stone shrouded in the afternoon heat. There, the secretive order of the Silent Watchers maintained their mist-shrouded gardens. The scent of sun-warmed granite mingled with an almost imperceptible floral note, the delicate yet potent widow's blush. It was a place of quiet observation, of hushed passages. Mara, using her keen observational skills honed as a spy, managed to glean whispers from the periphery of the order's outreach. The Watchers, while outwardly devoted to texts, possessed a deeper currency in information and oaths, binding agreements that could stretch across generations, like roots seeking deep water.
The early summer morning dawned with a shimmering heat haze already rising from New Seagate's cobbled streets. The air, heavy and humid, promised another day of unrelenting sun. The scent of freshly harvested wheat, carried on a stray breeze from the agricultural lands outside the city walls, mixed strangely with the ever-present tang of the sea. After a morning spent discerning subtle clues about the Order of the Silent Watcher's intricate connections, a quiet meal of spiced melon and freshly baked bread, a testament to summer's bounty, was taken in a discreet tavern. By midday, the group descended into the chaotic sprawl of ferrymen's slips, a warren of dilapidated warehouses near the shipbuilding yards. Here, the clamor of hammers on wood mingled with the cries of gulls and the rough laughter of dock workers. The elegant, guarded comportment required in Merchant's Row gave way to a hardened vigilance. Dalton, his gruff demeanor a natural fit for these rough edges, led the way, his gaze sweeping over the suspicious faces. They sought Finian, the struggling cartographer. The sun, a molten disk in the sky, beat down, casting stark shadows and making the air thick with sweat and tar. They found Finian in the gloom of the rusty anchor, a watering hole perpetually smelling of stale rum and desperation. His face, etched with the lines of too many worries, brightened only slightly at the offer of a few crowns. Dalton's pragmatic directness, tempered by Mara's charm and Wilfred's quiet, observant presence, slowly prized the information free. Finian, nursing a glass of cheap cider, spoke of a black-sailed sloop. He'd seen it leaving the docks an hour before dawn, a silent, almost spectral vessel, unlike any local fishing craft, heading southwest towards the desolate outer reefs, the Weeping Teeth. It was 3 days ago, he recalled, as the first grapes of the season were being brought in, their sweet scent a rare pleasantry amidst the docks. The image of the vessel was vivid in his mind, painted against the pre-dawn sky, a stark silhouette before the summer sun claimed the horizon. The information, precise and unexpected, solidified their purpose. The destination, the desolate Weeping Teeth, promised a journey by sea or along the treacherous, sun-baked coastline. Preparations began that afternoon. Anya, Sarah, and Gemma, utilizing their practical skills, procured provisions, dried figs and carobs, fresh-cut chilies, and potent herbal remedies from the bustling autumn bounty markets that were just beginning to appear, signaling the winding down of summer's prime. These markets, celebrating the successful harvest with vibrant displays of preserved goods, offered a stark contrast to the grimness of their impending journey. A small, sturdy coastal vessel was secured with little fanfare, its owner swayed by Dalton's coin and Mara's persuasive tongue. As dusk settled, painting the western sky in hues of orange and deep purple, the group boarded, leaving the glittering, monstrous fish of New Seagate behind, its silent tension a constant companion.
The journey to the Weeping Teeth spanned 3 days under the relentless midsummer sun, a period defined by the rhythmic slap of waves against the hull and the vast, indifferent expanse of the Carzalan Sea. Each dawn broke with the sky a soft, pearlescent gray, slowly warming into a vibrant blue as the sun climbed higher, burning off the thin morning mists that kissed the water. The air, initially cool and fresh, quickly grew heavy and still, thick with the scent of salt and the distant, unseen marine life. Dalton, ever vigilant, scanned the horizon, his seasoned eyes missing nothing. Wilfred, despite his limited experience at sea, horsemanship and swimming both ranked 0, found a strange comfort in the rhythmic sway, observing the intricate patterns of the waves. Mara, a journeyman swimmer, felt the sea's pull, a primal connection to its mysteries. Anya, Sarah, and Gemma, though unaccustomed to prolonged maritime travel, used their healer's knowledge to manage seasickness and maintain the small stock of provisions, offering cups of cooling, spiced water infused with moon petal flowers harvested at dawn. Meals were simple affairs of hardtack, dried fruit like pears and pomegranates, and occasional small, freshly caught fish cooked over a small, portable stove at twilight, the rich aroma carried away by the sea breeze. Evenings brought a welcome coolness, the sky a vast canvas of glittering stars, a stark reminder of the world's immense indifference to their desperate quest. They kept a low profile, avoiding any other vessels, the discretion Vance desired paramount. On the third day, as the sun began its slow descent, painting the western sky in fiery oranges and deep maroons, the desolate, jagged rocks of the Weeping Teeth finally emerged from the haze. They were aptly named, their dark, ancient forms appearing to weep endless tears into the churning surf, a stark, forbidding landscape. The sloop Finian described was not immediately visible. Dalton disembarked first, his ranger skills immediately assessing the treacherous terrain. Mara, with her agile hobbit frame, scrambled over barnacle-encrusted rocks, her keen eyes searching for any sign of recent passage. Anya and Sarah, though more used to the gentle slopes of farmlands, moved with careful determination,
while Gemma, observant and quick-witted, scanned the rock formations for concealed paths. After an hour of painstaking searching along the craggy shoreline, Mara signaled. Tucked into a narrow, sea-carved cove, almost perfectly camouflaged by a sheer rock face and a dense, gnarled growth of salt-stunted shrubs, lay the black-sailed sloop. It was old but well-maintained, its lines sleek and silent. Near the hidden mooring, partially shielded by a low overhang, they found a temporary camp. A cold fire pit, some discarded provisions, and, significantly, a single withered sprig of widow's blush, its distinctive crimson almost faded to brown. The scent, though faint, confirmed the connection to the Order of the Silent Watchers. There was also a crude but effective warding glyph painted on a rock face nearby, not clerical but arcane, suggesting a powerful, non-religious practitioner. The theft was not just a simple acquisition of wealth, but a deliberate, calculated act by someone who understood Vance's esoteric world and the subtle power of his covenant. The discovery brought a chilling clarity to the desperate nature of Vance's request.
Their return to New Seagate was as swift and discreet as their departure, the small vessel cutting through the summer swells, laden not with treasure, but with the heavy weight of newfound knowledge. The week-long quest had worn on them, the sun-drenched days and star-strewn nights of travel giving way to a shared, quiet understanding of the intricate web they had untangled. As they neared the city, the air grew thick once more with the mingled scents of brine and sandalwood, the familiar perfume of prosperity clinging to the evening air. The city, glittering with its myriad lamps, seemed to pulse with a renewed, albeit precarious, vitality. They did not have the eye of the deep in hand, but they possessed something equally valuable: the truth of its disappearance. Dalton, Mara, and Wilfred, accompanied by Anya, Sarah, and Gemma, once more sought the quiet marble halls of the Silver Scriptorium. Magistra Lyra Sol awaited them, her exhaustion now tinged with an anxious hope. The story they unfurled was one not of common thieves, but of a calculated betrayal orchestrated by an agent of the Order of the Silent Watchers, an individual who had not merely stolen a gem, but had shattered a covenant. The arcane ward and the widow's blush were irrefutable proofs. The Eye of the Deep, they deduced, had been taken not for its monetary value, but for the profound esoteric knowledge it represented, a secret held within Vance's private seal and the ancient dwarven lock, a philosophy the Watchers sought to control. It was a trade in power, in the currency of secrets rather than gold. Lord Vance, informed through Lyra, did not erupt in anger. His quiet stillness deepened, a terrifying calm that spoke of a man whose foundations had been irrevocably shaken. The understanding of the method, the breach of his deeply held esoteric beliefs, weighed heavier than the loss of the colossal sapphire itself. He understood now that the threat was not external, but a cancerous growth within the very systems he trusted. The silence surrounding the how was now understood, a desperate attempt to contain a scandal that would expose the vulnerability of the duchy's perceived stability. The reward, though still handsome, seemed almost incidental in the face of the larger, unspoken contract that had been broken. As the adventurers left the scriptorium, the first signs of summer's winding down were visible. The autumn bounty markets were in full swing, celebrating the final cutting of wheat and flax, and the distant, slow descent of goat and sheep herds from the high pastures had begun.